I'm wondering if anybody updated their Mac to Big Sur. I wasn't going to do it this close because
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good
Meet
point.
Meet Echo seems to be very
Yeah,
fragile.
yeah, it really is. Yeah, Stig and I, he can't get his audio working. He and I tested it out on Friday and it was working just fine. Maybe reboot Stig and start over. We'll wait a minute or two.
Share my screen early in the meeting, but later in the meeting I couldn't. It was weird.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And I thought Meet Echo last IETF worked great. I had no problems. I thought it was simple and everything was
Hello.
wonderful, but
Can you hear me?
struggled this time.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Kinda. No, we can't.
Hello.
Yeah, it's struggling.
Hello.
Yep.
Oh, okay, great.
Just crank up the volume because we can barely hear you.
Okay. Should be okay now, I hope.
I just cranked up my own volume.
Okay. Yeah, okay, just got it working here. Okay, I'll start sharing.
Okay. Yep, you can see him now. Just out of curiosity, Stig, are you on a PC or Mac, and what browser are you using?
This is Windows with Chrome.
With Chrome?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I got going too. That seems to work pretty good.
Yeah, so when we tested the other day, it worked just fine. But yeah, I think during M1D, my microphone wasn't working. And of course, yeah, didn't know either. Not sure exactly what's going on, but at least it's fine right now. Yeah, okay, let me start my video as well.
We've got 2 hours, but we'll probably just go a little over an hour, guys, so we can call it a night a little earlier.
Yeah. All right, so let's get started, I guess.
Yep.
No blue sheets to worry about.
Nope.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, well, I guess we'll do this. All right,
You're very
start.
really loud.
Okay, so this is the agenda. So Mike and I will go through the current working group status, and then we'll talk about different drafts here. Just added the telemetry to the agenda as well.
Hold on just a second. Is it just me, guys, or are you struggling to hear Stig? Anybody? Can you guys hear Stig okay?
No, his audio dropped.
Okay, yeah, we can't really hear you, Stig. It kind of comes and goes, but
There
it more goes. Go, yeah, just hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. All right, so it's okay right now? Okay, let's try this. Okay, so this is the agenda. So we'll get to these drafts soon. For that, we'll look at the current working group status. So yeah, so we have the MSDP Young model that got published. That's great news, and we got some more Young models coming. Both the PIM Young model and IETF Young models, the sleeping Young models, should be published soon. I think it's mostly a matter of waiting for references. So that's the good news. The bad news is we have a couple of drafts that we requested publication for, but the AD returned them to us. So one is the DR improvement draft. So there were, I think there were various editorial things or things that needed to be clarified. Also, one particular thing was the relationship between this and the backup DR draft. So there is some text to try to address that, but it seems like we may need some more discussion or clarification. So we don't have an update to the draft just yet. So there was an update earlier before addressing some of the AD comments, but since it was returned to the working group, we have some more updates. So yeah, I guess we'll discuss that next meeting, or hopefully we can do some work on it this time. Also, the null register packing draft had a fairly long list of issues, and the AD returned it to us. And we need to do a better job at reviewing documents before we send them to publication. There will be a presentation later today on this. We need to figure out that last fall if it's ready, or what kind of review we want to do before we request publication again, if that's what we decide. All right. Then we have some more drafts. We have the point to multi-point BFD draft that is in working group last call right now. So that ends on Friday. Since the responses on the list already, but please keep them coming. And also, lots of people saying that it's supported, but it's also great if people can provide comments on the text and anything that can be improved, or what any issues you might have. Draft. The IGMP MLD proxy Yang model will be discussed today. Also, the IGMP MLD extension. Otherwise, we have an assert packing draft that expired. Hoping we'll get a new version of that soon. There was a new submission for the point routing point to multi-point policy draft. So please have a look at that. So the original plan was to present it today, but that's not going to happen. But meeting materials. Looking at those. Also, we did this survey to progress IGMP version 3, MLD version 2. So we got lots of input, and there's a draft that summarizes the input we got. So based on that, we have some idea about what people have deployed. Basically, the various features or elements of these RFCs. We know a bit more what people have deployed, and also what interoperability or other issues people might have had. And based on that, we want to revise these RFCs. So basically, the idea is to remove any parts that are not used, or improve language, or clarify things that people have. wrongly. So the main thing now is we need people that can work on this. Yeah, I think we have a few people that were working on this previously that are still interested in working on this. But if anyone wants to join the effort, then let us know. I can send an email to the list with more info about this as well. But if you're interested, please have a look at the graph here.
Your audio's still struggling pretty bad, Stig. It's coming and going, but
Okay.
now it sounds great right now, but it just every 30 seconds or so it just tanks.
Let me try one thing. I'll try to stop my. Actually, yeah, hopefully that doesn't break. Yeah, hello. Maybe this is better.
That's a lot better. Yeah, maybe just there you go.
Okay, let me reshare my screen.
What's the difference? Just not sharing video? Is that the only difference?
I was using VPN, so the
Oh, okay.
yeah, so the forwarding path wasn't optimal. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully it will be fine now. So yeah, so I don't want to repeat all of this, but basically we have this draft with a survey report. You can see at the bottom of the slide. So please have a look at that, and we want people that can help to work on progressing the IGMP and MLD specs to internet standard. I'll send an email to the list with some more details, but we discussed this in the past. So basically, we want to not like add new protocol stuff, but basically take some stuff out if it's not implemented or used and fix interoperability issues and so on. All right. Any questions or comments? All right. So anything to add, Mike, or shall we start with the first presentation?
I think we should start.
Yeah. All right.
Which is
so, yeah, which is me. Let's see here if I can. Okay, don't have that up. Okay, I wonder how this looks. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, that didn't go as smoothly as I hoped. All right.
we see it though.
Yeah, all right, great. Okay, so yeah, I've been presenting this a few meetings now. So basically, want some generic way of extending IGMP and MLD, adding some TLVs. So what this draft does is talk about how to extend the protocol, defining the TLV formats, or on well, not the TLVs themselves, but basically how the TLV approach works. And also it talks about backwards compatibility and things that new documents, well, any documents that define new types, what they need to specify. So for instance,
you need to, and any document defining a new type needs to have some discussion about backwards compatibility. What if some hosts or routers on a subnet supports the new TLV and some don't, and various other things. So it calls out what those documents need to support. Let's see. For the format itself, it's the same as I presented the last meeting. So we are using the additional data section of IGMP and MLD. So basically, we have a reserved bit, the E you can see in blue here, that indicates that this extension is being used. And then the blue at the bottom is where the additional data is that will contain these TLVs. And the TLV format is like this. So this comes basically at the end of, comes after what is currently in the IMP or MLD message. So it's just a list of TLVs. There is some reserved bits and a total extension length, and then there is like each TLV. Maybe I shouldn't go too much into this because we discussed this the last meeting, but one reason for the total extension length is that we can, just like current IGMP and MLD protocols, we can allow for additional data coming after this. So the total length here will basically tell you when these TLVs end, so that if there's any data after this, they won't be treated as yet another TLV. So they can be any additional data for future protocol enhancements. Last IETF, the main comment was that there should be some more discussion in the draft about how to use this and compatibility and so on. And I tried to address that. So, and most of that is basically saying what the drafts that actually define specific types need to specify. So any comments? Yeah, so personally, I feel that I'm pretty much finished with this draft. At least I've done what I can think of adding to it. So to make any progress, I feel either I need some comments or maybe everyone is happy with it. We'll see. But I think it would be good to do a working group last call if the chairs of the working group are happy with that.
I'm going to do a little poll real quick and see if it works, if anybody cares. We'll take this to the list, but I'm just going to.
Yeah, I can raise, I think I'll raise my own hand here.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
We'll give it a minute.
Yeah, what I maybe should add is the motivation for this right now is a beer overlay, or I should say IGMP MLD overlay for beer, where we want to pass some additional beer info. But this is generic, so we can use it to add anything else in the future. But any extensions need to go through the working group the way it's specified now. So it's not like everyone can just go and extend whatever they want. We need to be a bit careful about what extensions we do because of the compatibility.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got 6 responsive. Yeah, let's go ahead and do working group last call. And
yeah. All right. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll take it to the list, but that's
yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Great. Thank you.
All right. Hanji's next.
Yeah.
Are you done, Stig?
Yeah. Let me bring
so
up
Hanji,
the slides.
if you want to share your own screen, and if you're feeling comfortable, we'd love to see your video, but there's no pressure to do that.
Hi, Matt, can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Do I need to share my desktop or?
Yeah, just go ahead and publish your screen. Just hit the button at the top to request sharing your
Yeah,
screen, and we'll approve
yeah.
it.
If you want to, we can run the slides too. But yeah, you're welcome to do it yourself.
Okay. Let me check.
Yeah, it's about to start. There's
Sorry,
just a
something
little bit.
wrong with the sharing. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
how can you help me? Stay, you share.
Yeah.
You want to do
Okay.
it, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
The button looks disable.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think you can
Okay.
see the slides now. So
Okay.
just tell me when to move to the next slide. So.
Okay, thank you. Now let me introduce some updates about this IGMP MLD proxy YARN module. Next, please. This is the second version for the presentation as the workgroup draft. Nice, please. Here, we totally have about 2 updates about this draft. First one, we changed the feature name from the feature IGMP proxy to IGMP proxy because we have checked some related YARN modules. This keyword feature always doesn't use in the feature name, so we made this change. Next, please. I stay. Next, please.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Similarly, we also renamed the feature MLD proxy to MLD proxy, similar as the IGMP proxy. Next, please. The second update, we renamed the leaf version in the IGMP proxy tree to IGMP version. So because we think this keyword IGMP version is more accurate. Below is the whole IGMP proxy tree now. Next, please. Similarly, we also renamed the leaf version in the MLD proxy tree to the MLT version. Below is the current MLD proxy tree here. Okay, and next, please. Okay, next time we think this draft is ready for the young adults review, and we also welcome more comments from our teamers. Thank you. That's all.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Any comments?
on our part to send this to Yang doctors for review, or is that, do the authors just take care of that? Did you hear me?
Yeah, so I think we can request the review in the data tracker.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't remember for sure now. Have we had any review before? Any Young Doctor review or this one?
I think we. Hongji, is this the first time?
Yes, this is first time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can. Or well, Mike as well. One of us can start the. Yeah, at least request the review. Yeah. All right. And well, it would be great if people can read the draft and see if they have any comments. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Ramke?
you.
Yeah, he's having some issues connecting. So he's trying to bring up Meet Echo, but it doesn't show up at all.
Go to the next presentation.
Yeah, I think so. We can do him at the end, or see if we can figure it out by then.
Waymo, are you available?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to try to share, or do you want me to share
Yeah,
slides?
I'm trying to see what
Yeah,
happens.
I just approved. You're good. Oh, it says all the slots for the requested media are already taken.
Let's see. Oh, I need to stop mine. I think.
There you go.
Try now. Yeah. Okay.
So can you see my screen right now?
Not yet.
Oh, that's interesting. No response. Share screen, no screen.
I guess the difference is it's a PDF. Do you want to try to share it for him, Stig?
Yeah, maybe I cancel that one. I can get some error. So can you share the screen for me? Doesn't work.
Yeah, Stig will try.
I'll try.
Yep.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the SRv6.2 multi-point path. Next page. So compared to the previous version, we just have some updates. First, we have some kind of editorial changes. And secondly, and mostly we add some details about behaviors on ingress node and the transient node. Next page. So the behaviors about the ingress node. So on the ingress node will receive a segment list. This segment list represents a SR P2MP path or subtree. For example, for the SR P2MP path in the figure below, so we have a segment list for the subtree from P1 to P2, P3, and L1, L2, and P4, and L3 and L4. So this segment list, because this is for P2MP path, so inside this segment list is the multicast SIDs for each of these nodes. So with this given segment list, the ingress node R will execute in caps for input segment list and a package. So this package has a data or as a payload. So this in cap will push segment list into the package 0, and then we have a new package prime. So in fact, this new package is the output of execution of this in cap with input segment list and packet 0. So after we have this new package prime, then this ingress will send this package to the next hop, for example, next hop P1. So in fact, this new packet prime contains that segment list given. So next page. So for each transient node, that transient node will receive a package like a package PM prime, for example, from ingress node or from another transient node. So this package will contain a segment list. So this segment list, in fact, represents the subtree from the node receiving the package. So this transient node will copy the date or package 0 in that package. And then it will also obtain the segment list for subtrees, or say next hops. That next hop will be the subtree of the root of the subtrees. And then use this new segment list for that subtree, and then the packet 0 as a payload. The transient node will execute in cap with these inputs and then generate new packages and then send to the next hop. For example, on transient node P1 will receive a package M prime, which is sent from the ingress node. So this package will contain a segment list. So this segment list, we have destination, which is P1. So from this P1M, which is a multicast ID. This multicast ID has information about how many branches or subtrees do we have. So here, the information indicates that we have 2 branches. One starts from P2, the other starts from P3. So from this information, we can get 2 segment lists. One is for subtree started from P2, so which is the yellow, highlighted with yellow. That's the segment list for subtree started from P2. We have another subtree which is started from P3. So the segment list for this subtree is highlighted with red. So we can get a two segment list, and then each is for one subtree. And then use this segment list with the, and also the packet 0, which is data as a payload, as an input of incap. And then we do the incap, and then generate a new package for P2, and then we send this new package to next hop P2. Similarly, we have a segment list for another subtree, which is a subtree started from P3, and then we use this segment list and also the data packet 0 as the input, and then execute the ncap, and then this ncap will generate a new package. We call the package P3, and then this will transfer node P1 will send this new package to the next hop P3. So this is the behavior on the transfer node. So next page. Yeah, I think that's all about this update. So basically, we update, get more details about behaviors on English node and the transfer node. So I would like to request for adoption. So any comments?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I see we have a AC here.
Yeah, it's a ceiling of Cisco systems. Is this? I don't know this for sure, but is this the first time that this behavior for this forwarding behavior is being described for the SR? I mean, for the point to multipoint tree, the SR, is that described someplace else?
Yeah, I think in the first version, in 0 version, we also described the forwarding behaviors, but this one just we give more details.
Okay, but there isn't another document, so this is the first time this is.
The second time, there's a second.
No, but I mean, there isn't a Spring document or anything that defines this.
No Spring document yet.
Okay, yeah. So this is so this is new. Okay, that's what I thought.
So there are other documents, right, on SRv6, but I guess what is new in this document is trying to define the whole tree basically inside the packet.
Right. So you're doing it at the ingress, and you have a new type of forwarding behavior to process all these nested subtrees.
Yes. Basically, those tree structure is encoded in those multicast SIDs.
Yeah, I understood it.
Yeah. So as an author, the PIM working group has already adopted a draft to do something similar, and it does create state in the network, which is fine. We think it's a good solution, and what we're presenting here is just another solution specifically for SRv6 that is more SR-like, where you're not having to create like a replication segment, and you're making it very similar to segment routing. At least we think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So as a working group participant, I think the main thing I'm wondering about with this is basically how efficiently can you do this? Do you think that router would be able to do this in hardware, do the necessary operations, or?
Yeah, I think so, because SRv6 we have a lot of the called programming, and then those you see those IDs, each type of IDs with support or associated with a part of code, pursuit code. So those pursuit code I think is we have flexibilities to do those kind of work or procedures or behaviors we described in this document.
Okay.
But it is a valid concern to have, a growing segment list, which is a general concern for segment routing in general.
Yes, I think last time someone also request maybe the size of those list is big. I think that I think there are some solutions. For example, we can use a subtree for each. Even that segment list is too big, and then we can split into subtrees. That's one solution. Another solution is because right now people working on comparisons of SIDs, so that may also reduce these concerns.
AAC, are you trying to speak, or did we not remove your old request?
I just forgot to remove it.
Okay. Ian? Ian Duncan, do you want to comment?
Yeah, I would like to reinforce the question that was just asked and ask that some worked examples get provided. I'm skeptical, even with the application of microsit, that this is going to be something that is generally amenable to being implemented across a decent range of existing hardware. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just skeptical. I can't imagine the manipulations required. It's the way the document is laid out. It's very abstract.
Is it because of the segment list size?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the operations required in a given point of multicasting.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, I think because those structure is very fixed. For example, the number of branches, that's a fixed field. Then from that fixed field, we can get those subtrees. You see for example, when a transfer node receive a package, and then the segment list, we can access those segment lists is in the header. And also destination is also in the IP visit header. We have destination. Those one will process for each of hardware can process those destinations. So in these destinations, because segment routing ID v6 IDs, they have argument functions. Those argument and functions, I think hardware should access those arguments because that's the common things for argument in the SIDs for SRv6, right?
Yeah, so I think I understand it. It would be nice to see some concrete worked examples. That's all. And I'll
you mean the
yield the mic at this point.
Or even the migration or some prototyping?
That's fair.
All right, Greg is next. Greg?
There you go. Sorry about that. I thought you'd unmute me. Yeah, I want to just second everything we said about in terms of examples, scale, processing. The examples. Let me help maybe articulate a bit. Look at a real network. See what the distribution scale really is. Let's take a look at what the transport tax is in a real deployment and see what we're really talking about here in scale. Because I recall an IETF, late 90s in PIM where they're kind of doing the same thing. Each member join would just add to the header its destination IP address until the thing just got massive. So it becomes unbounded at some point, right? And this idea of making a subtree If your header's too big, you send 2 packets. I mean, we already are at a point where transport tax is massive. So again, we can speculate, you can speculate. We're asking for examples. Show us what a real network would look like operating on this, and we can see what the packet really looks like and get an idea of scale.
Yeah, I think that's even though the network is big and the multi-cast tree is big, we can split that big tree into several sub-trees.
Right.
For each
Now you have 2
sub-tree,
big.
the segment list can be smaller, right?
Again, you haven't fixed the problem, you just spread it around.
Yeah,
So another thing that because right now there's a work going on in the Spring Group. They propose comparisons of SIDs. So that also will resolve the scalability problem partially, I think.
Not as you've got to define the entire tree in the packet. That doesn't compress this. Compressing the SID doesn't help that at all. You still have to define all of your branch and endpoints in the packet. It's explicit definition of an entire tree.
Yeah, I think that's the balance of either we put those information or states in the package or in the network. I think that's the beauty of segment routing. So segment routing put the whole path in the package, and then we get rid of the states in the network, right?
Well, that's one view. I mean, we can argue that today, and I don't think it's the right place. But you can say you're overloading something, or it's beautiful because you put it in one place. But there's also service separation. If you think about the history of how these technologies have evolved, oftentimes they come out of the gate all smashed together, and we realize how complex that is, and we break it up so we can bound these problems into sets and have them work in nice layers. And then this comes around again. So give us some examples, and let us see where this goes. Thank you.
good points. Part of what Waymo's describing is that your points can be generally described against segment routing in general and not specific to this draft. I know this draft exacerbates the list size, but it's kind of a philosophical discussion about segment routing in general. Is kind of what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
But your point's taken, and we'll do our best to include some of that information in the draft.
Yeah, and another thing that I've been wondering about is Mtu size, and it'd be good to know basically how much space do you need to store this. I guess I can figure it out from the draft, but it'd be nice to have some examples. Like how much overhead do you add to the packet to describe a typical tree?
Sure.
Any more comments?
Do you feel comfortable
Right.
polling? Do you feel comfortable polling the working group?
Yeah,
group?
sure. I can do. Yeah, I can do that. So I want to ask two questions actually. One is how many people have read this draft? Let's see. So basically, yeah, if you have read the draft, please raise your hand. Okay, at least 7 people, that's pretty good. I should raise my hand as well. 9 people. Okay, so that's a decent number. That's good. So then I want to ask one more question. Which is, do you think we should adopt the current draft in PIM now? And you can also do a negative if you want. It's either raise your hand or do not raise your hand. Yeah, this is pretty nice compared to the humming that we actually can see the numbers, I think. So yeah, right now we have out of 20, we have 4 people raising their hand and 7 people not raising their hand. Basically, 4 people think we should adopt it now, and 8 people now think we should not adopt it at this moment. So yeah, I think we should take it to the list. So basically, it would be nice to get a new version that addresses some of the comments we got already, maybe with some examples, and also get some discussion on the list about this. We should not wait until the next meeting. We need to get some activity on the mailing list. So yeah, great if the authors can send an email to the list and start some discussion.
Will do. Thanks.
That sound good? Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So let's look at the agenda again. Yeah, so Ramke was supposed to present null-register packing, but he has tried multiple laptops now, and it basically just gets the blue screen when Meet Echo is supposed to pop up. I don't know if that's a known problem. So I think I'll present it for him. Does that sound good, Mike?
Yes, thank you. That sounds good.
Yeah, I was chatting with him, and he's okay with me doing that. So.
Great.
All right. Yeah, it's a fairly short presentation anyway, but let's see. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so we requested publication this draft a couple of months back, I think. And our AD reviewed the draft and found several issues with it. Several of those we should have found them in the working group as part of our review. So we need to do better at that, both as a working group and also chairs and shepherds. So we need to do better in the future. Yeah, by the way, yeah, Alvaro, if you're here, have any comments, please, yeah, let me know. But yeah, we need to do better. We also had the DR improvement draft that was not good enough. So yeah. All right. So for this draft, it was returned to the working group, and since then the author has worked hard and posted a new version, and I also provided some review comments on the previous version. So hopefully it's in a better shape this time. So version 6 should hopefully address the AD comments and concerns. So the changes were mostly editorial. The main thing I think that wasn't editorial was to show the correct packet formats with the new our new type space, where we basically added the subtype concept. So I think the document is in much better shape now, but we we need some review, and we need to decide: do we need to do another working group last call, or what do we do? Any thoughts on that, Mike, or anyone has any comments?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do this, because I'm a little doubtful if we'll get many comments from the working group, if any.
Yeah, that's often a problem we have. Yeah.
So but we need to. I mean, we've been requested to have it re-reviewed, right? So
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, if we, of the people listening in right now, if we could at least get, I don't know, one person or maybe a couple of people that are willing to read through it and provide some comments, that would be really great. It's a fairly short draft. Any volunteers out there? Okay,
yes.
Alvaro.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not volunteering to read the draft.
Okay.
I already read it. But yes, I want you to last call it, and I want to see actual discussion. That was one of the things that I didn't see last time. There were a lot of issues, including things, as you mentioned, that should have been caught, like no security considerations section in the draft at all, and a bunch of other stuff. So yes, if we're going to push things through the working group, we need the working group to look at them, right?
Yeah.
But so before, just really quick, so if you have noticed, there are some issues with the chat in Mireco. So I was told that we're going to reboot the VM maybe in a minute or so. So I'm not sure we're going to actually lose the whole thing, or just
Okay.
the Jabber chat. So just so you know, right, if we go away, come back in a minute or two, maybe close.
Yeah, my Meet Echo just restarted, at least.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
did.
well, I think we are back. Yeah, I think Alvaro is coming back here too.
Okay, I guess Alvaro's out.
Okay, I see him on the participant list.
Yeah, I'm still here. I didn't have anything else to say, just to give you a heads up that
Yeah,
the session will end. And
I think we lost most of that, but you're back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we really need more review, and we can do a working group last call, but we need to make sure that some people actually respond to that and read the documents. So it would be really great if we could find some volunteers to review the document. Is anyone here willing to review it? Basically, just read through the document and just provide any comments you have. It's nothing too serious or difficult.
Are you volunteering, Sandy? Or do you have a comment?
Yeah. Yes, and comment. Thank you.
Go ahead.
No, I have no comment because I
Oh.
think I have reviewed it. Yes,
Oh, thank you.
before.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I will do it again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks. Awesome. Anyone else? Oops, that's the wrong one. Okay, so guess we have to take it to the list. Okay, we have Lenny.
Volunteer. I'll give it a shot. To
Awesome.
review.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. So yeah. So I think we'll maybe wait for the two of you to review it first in case you have substantial comments, and then we'll do a working group last call once you have done that, and either we have addressed the issues you find, or if there's no major issues, we can do the last call before we revise the draft. But hopefully then in a few weeks we'll do a working group last call, and we need as many of you as possible to read the draft and comment or reply on the last call. But yeah, I would say in general, we struggle to get enough people to review documents, and we may have to basically not publish documents if we don't get enough reviewers. And if a document is useful and people think it's good and worth doing, then hopefully there will be some people willing to review it as well. But yeah, I really appreciate getting at least 2 people to review this document this time. So that's great. All right. I think we can move on to the last presentation then, Mike, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah,
about
you
10
can
minutes away.
share your own. Yeah, you can share your own slides, I guess, or.
Yeah, I'll share my own slides.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we good? Can you see these?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So yeah, we should be done in the next 10 minutes or so people can go to bed. So this was presented an hour and a half ago in Mbondi. For many of you that were there, this will be a bit of a repeat. I'll try to quickly go through it. But this is a draft that we have presented in both Mbondi and PIM in the past, about a year or so ago, I think. It's a draft that we've been pursuing in IPPM working group, IP Performance Measurement Working Group, and it, being that it's multicast specific and OEM specific, it's had a hard time getting any traction in IPPM working group, and we, as I mentioned previously, it's something that we discussed with Warren, and we tried to get some advice from him, and these kind of drafts do have a hard time. So we could either have it addressed in the ops area working group, Mbondi, or PIM. What we presented in Mbondi is that maybe what we could do is, I'll get into the details in just a little second, but maybe develop a problem statement in Mbondi and discuss the protocol modifications in PIM. This would have to be something that we would have to run by the IPPM working group chairs if we're to do this, but I would suspect that they would be happy to have it done somewhere else. So the background is that multicast traffic monitoring is important. We need to be able to reconstruct point-to-multipoint trees and visualize them. And we need to be able to monitor the performance, the jitter, the packet drops, and do so beyond what conventional OAM techniques are able to give us. And so there are some on-path telemetry techniques that are available that are being worked on in IPPM. The IOAM draft is something that has been, it's nearing the end of its getting through the standards process in that working group. There's some other ones that have not been adopted in the working group yet that are being worked on, but they all have to do with adding telemetry data in the packet itself in band. So in Suto OEM, in band IOM, in band OAM is worked on. And so there's some problems with those techniques, however. They do have some flaws for multicast with inbound OAM. Every packet carries the entire trace data, the entire point-to-multipoint data trace. And so there's a lot of data redundancy, because when you're collecting that data, capturing it and collecting it and sending it to where you want to analyze that data, it's just a lot of redundant data. And so I think we can do better. And then there's some other solutions like postcard-based trees that make it so that there's not as much redundant data, but there's no branch identifier. And so we propose a way that you can add a branch identifier to be able to properly recreate the trees and correlate those postcards. And so we want to be able to, the objective of this draft is to be able to allow the original multicast tree to be correctly reconstructed without unnecessarily replicating the telemetry information. So there's a variety of ways that we can do this. The draft mentions a few, highlighting this one and then on the following slide, and there's per hop postcard and there's per section postcard. A postcard is at a branch node that sends a postcard to the collector of the telemetry data of the status of the packet at that point. And so we add a branch identifier in this draft to the instruction header to be able to help reconstruct the tree, because that's something that is not able to be done right now with existing solutions. You can have these postcard-based solutions, but there's not a way to properly reconstruct a tree when you're looking at this telemetry data. And so this is something that we're proposing to be added to it. And then there's another way that using per section postcard, where you've got the data for a particular section that is collected and then correlated, and we're able to make a similar adjustment to the packet to be able to provide that at the branch node as well. And so again, what we're trying to accomplish is being able to make telemetry data efficient for multicast. And we naturally, just to repeat myself, naturally something that we would want to be doing in IPPM, because that's where this telemetry data is being worked on. But being that it's not exciting, there's not the expertise with multicast, as I explained before, it's similar to what we've done in the spring working group, where we've taken the point-to-multipoint drafts and we are working on them in PIM, at least one of them right now. And the spring chairs were happy to have us do so. And it's a similar situation, we think, with multicast telemetry data. And so we're proposing to either have a problem statement draft in MBOND and then have protocol modifications done in PIM, or just have it all be done in PIM and just keep it as one draft as we have right now. So first, are there any questions? And then secondly, STIG. My final request would be to you to poll the working group to see if this is something that we think that that should be done here. And if it is, then I'll need to have you, STIG, ping the IPPM chairs, kind of like what we did with Spring, and then ask them if they're okay for that.
Right. So when you say do the work here, you're not talking about the current draft, right? But basically any future work in this area.
I'm
Like
talking
the
about the
protocol.
specific draft.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, Lenny has some comments.
Yeah, Mike. So it went by quickly in M-Bone-D, so I didn't get a chance to ask. But so what exactly was the experience? So you've taken this first to IPPM, and they were not interested, or
Zero. Yeah.
What,
Yeah, great question. So we've sent a couple emails, and we've had zero response, and so just nothing. It's a very busy working group, and so they're busy working on things that they're interested in, and they just don't have interest in this type of multicast OEM. But we received zero response. We did privately email Frank Brockners, who's leading the IOM data draft, and he gave us some advice, and so we kind of modified it further. We pinged the chairs of IPPM, and they said, yeah, feel free to keep trying, basically. And so it's this isn't the only draft that I've had that over the years of working the IETF, you have to rally interest at times. But particularly for multicast, as you know, it's just some people just don't care or don't know about multicast enough to want to do anything about it. So we're kind of saying, you know what, there may be a better way to do this. And so that's why we're here.
Fair enough. So you wouldn't anticipate them taking umbrage with it being the work being done elsewhere?
No, I don't anticipate
they wouldn't
that.
feel their toes are being stepped upon.
No, but we would make sure if our working groups were to decide to take this on, we would definitely have to ask them first, just to kind of make sure they're cool with it.
So the protocol work here is basically extending IPPM protocols, right?
Yeah. And there's only one of those that's currently adopted, the IOAM data draft. The other ones are being proposed.
Right. Yeah, so I guess one question is whether it's in our charter or not, but I think I would have to double check, but I think it should be in the charter because it is multicast protocols. At least I would think of it that way. But we would definitely have to check with the chairs and ADs, I guess, about where this work should be done. But yeah, we should find out first if there's interest in doing this in PIM. So should I just ask the question, or?
Yeah, please. It's a fun tool. Go ahead. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's see. So we're not talking about a specific draft now, but basically, future drafts, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm only worried about this draft that I'm just presented, but
yeah, but
maybe,
I mean,
maybe
at least
this work in general, sure.
Yeah, because I mean, the current draft probably would, I know it would go to M-Bone-D, right? Possibly, or it would be split in two.
Yeah, probably split in two. Yeah.
So I think I want to ask, do you think we should do this, do work in this area? I don't know, maybe I should be more specific. Let me try this, I think. So when I say this area, basically along the lines of what is described in this draft, but it doesn't have to be exactly as it is specified, right? So we're not saying that we will adopt the current document, but just want to see if there's interest in working on this kind of stuff. Yeah, so far there's 4 people. I guess you all can see it. Handful of people in favor, or it's slowly increasing. And 1 person that thinks we should not do it, or 2 people thinks we should not do it now.
It's a little schizophrenic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can say already that at least there's several people that think they should do this kind of work. So that's good. That's like a quarter of the people on that, yeah, that are on here. So
There's a couple people in the queue.
okay, let's go back to the queue. Yeah, let's see. I can leave this running, I guess, while we do that. All right. I'm not sure who was first. I guess Lenny is first. Looks like.
Yeah. So without having, I didn't do the homework and haven't read this. Is it making changes to the protocol of PIM? It's adding branch IDs. What is the what's it actually doing to the protocol of PIM?
So it's not changing any multicast protocol at all. It's only adding a branch identifier to existing telemetry protocols to allow for efficient multicast tree reconstruction. So it's the changes would be, for instance, to there's a couple protocols that are telemetry specific protocols, like there's postcard based trees, there's hybrid 2-step. Greg Mirsky wrote that draft. He's involved with multicast as well as IPPM related stuff. There's an IOM draft that I mentioned. There'd be a modification to that draft as well. So we're only talking about telemetry data here, and modifying those protocols unrelated to multicast routing protocols to allow for efficient collection of multicast data.
Gotcha. So it sounds like it's more of an OAM type or
Absolutely.
troubleshooting tool, or
100%.
So I would almost, I would almost think that without, it's in the middle of the night and I haven't really thought through it that much, but I'm thinking, this would seem more Mbone-ish than PIM, because PIM is usually just changes to the actual multicast routing and group membership protocols, whereas Mbone is more focused on troubleshooting and operational and maintenance. So I don't know. I think it might be a better fit there, but just thinking aloud.
I think you might be right. We certainly should think about that. And I know stuff like mtrace, for instance, has been done in Mbone, and yeah.
Alvaro?
I sort of agree with Lenny there on sort of the division there of labor, and looking at the charters, Mbone specifically talks about extending protocols to provide tools and stuff like that. So that may work there. I think that it's still very premature to talk about adoption or actually doing the work anywhere without knowing exactly what the work is. And maybe others actually read the draft. I haven't, but I think that's an important step. And as you said already before, talk to the IPPM guys to make sure they're okay. Lack of interest is not the same for a working group. I mean, we're used to, unfortunately, in PIM, we have people who are interested in multicast, but there's not a lot of excitement a lot of the time. We get 2 or 3 people and we're really happy about something. So that doesn't always translate to the same thing in other working groups. So I would really, Stig or Lenny, whoever is going to go talk to the IPPM guys, if it was me, I would really be interested in understanding their point of view on what that means from their working group. If it is just that, they don't understand multicast, whatever, or if they think it means something else, it probably just means that they don't, they were just too excited and that's it. Nothing necessarily bad, but it would be a good question to ask them. And just one more announcement. I said before that we were going to reboot the whole Meet Echo thing. For some miracle, our session didn't stop, but the chat is back. If you want to go back to the chat, you can, but you need to reload the page. So that's it. We're probably almost done anyways, but if you want to go chat with someone, thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just to conclude that comment then is, I think what I'll do, Stig and Lenny, is as an individual contributor, since I'm aware of what's going on here, is I think I will email the IPPM chairs, copy you, and then just tell them what we're considering, that we're evaluating this potentially being work done in these working groups and wanted to get their feedback. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I guess either way, though, even if they are interested, it's probably good to have some draft, maybe an MBOND talking about the need for this, right, and how it would be used.
I think so. I think a general telemetry draft, and either way, I think you're absolutely right. Either way, I think a multicast telemetry draft needs to be done in MBOND. I think you're right. So if anybody's interested, please contact me and we'll make that happen. And are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done then, unless there's any more comments on this or anything else. Some of us are happy to go to sleep soon.
Yeah, no kidding. Great. Thank you, everybody. I think we're good.
Yeah, thanks. I'll see you
tomorrow.
see you online. Yeah. All right, thanks.
Good night. Good night. Good day.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Good day.